Hey y'all, so today we're going to be canning strawberry jam, and this is going to be water bath, and you're going to be doing a basic water bath, real simple. I've had failures and success when learning how to water bath. It ain't hard, it just takes time, and you got to be patient with it. But what you're going to need is tongs, a jar lifter. You're going to want this will be so helpful. Trying to get them out with a wooden spoon, you're liable to burn yourself because you're dealing with hot jars, hot water. This is your best friend. This is what you're gonna want. And you're gonna need pectin. This is just regular powdered pectin. You're gonna want jars. Today we're gonna be using half pints. You're gonna need 2-piece lids, which is your lid and your ring, and of course strawberries. And these strawberries are so good. I just picked them today, so they're fresh and can't wait. So I'll show you what else you need in just a second. Alright, since water bath canning, we're going to need a canner. So this is a water bath canner, and I just got it sitting on the stove. And inside I've already got my canning rack, and my jars are in there. Sorry, there's a glare with that light, but if you can see down in there, I just have my jars and my canning rack. Now if you don't have a canner like this, you could use a large pot, or you could use just a pot like this size. Use what you got. I got this one at Walmart for like $20 when I first learned how to can, and I've been using it ever since, and it's been a good pot. Anyway, you're going to want to submerge your jars for water bath just to cover. I mean, they're covering it by, you can see my finger down in there. I don't know if that shows you how much, but this is just your basic water bath setup in your canner. So let's go ahead and put that lid on there, and you're going to turn the heat on in just a second. I forgot to mention, plus sugar. You're going to want sugar to make your jam with, so forgot to add that in there. So strawberries, sugar, pectin, just to go over it one more time, jar lifter, 2-piece lids, lid and ring, your jars, strawberries, and then your water bath can setup. So now that we got, other thing, your canning funnel. This is an old canning funnel. It's plastic, aluminum, whatever. Canning funnels, also your best friend. When I first canned, I didn't have one of these, and yeah, made a mess. So these two things, you really want them. These are like basic water bath canning, or canning 101 in general. You're gonna want these two things. So 2 things I didn't mention a second ago was your sugar and your funnel, and this just fits on top of there like that. So that's what you want. In just a second, we'll get to our strawberries. Alright, so much you're gonna need when canning is big bowls. You're gonna want big pans, big bowls when working in, well, I'm gonna be working in batches, but for today's video, I'm just showing you how to can one batch. But large bowls, large pans, they're gonna be good to have, because with cutting them up, washing, just the biggest pan you got in your kitchen, I would say use, because you don't want to start your process and then your bowl wind up being too small, and then you having to dump them strawberries out into a bigger bowl, dirtying up dishes. It's stressful. Start out with a big bowl. Today I'm using this. I mean, it's clean, it's just, it's old, but it's fine. So this is what I'm going to be using today. Again, use what you have. And so let's get started washing our strawberries. Alright, I'm here at my sink, and I have a knife, small bowl here, and my sink's filled up with about 1/4 of the way with water. And I'm going to start out by just cutting the very top, I don't know if you can see that, off my strawberry like that, putting it in a bowl, and then I'm taking my strawberry and drop it in the water. And I'm going to do that with all my strawberries. Here I'm working with 5 pounds of strawberries. So This is what you want, about 5 pounds. And like I said, taking the tops, cutting them off just like that, throw them in the water. That's just the water I'm gonna rinse them in. So, I mean, that means funny. So, just take it and cut it off and throw it in the water. And this is what I'm just gonna do to wash my strawberries. Correction, you need 3 pounds of strawberries, which will be equal to around 8 cups when mashed or blended. So, correction, not 5 pounds, 3 pounds. This whole container is a 5-pound container. But once I wash them and rinse them and all, I'm gonna weigh them on my scale, kitchen scale, or measure out your cups. But I'm actually gonna do both just to see the difference, but I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Alright, so we're going to need a total of 8 cups of strawberries. And so here's my pan, there's my measuring cup, and I'm going to measure out 8 cups total. And all I did to mine was just barely cut the top off of them, rinse them, and throw them back in the container. Alright, there's 4 cups and 4 more. Before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on my jars and let them start heating up while I finish the rest of my strawberries. So after we turned our pot on, I got a large pot right here that I'm fixing to put my strawberries in. Alright, so I'm fixing to blend my strawberries up in my food processor. I ain't gonna like puree them or anything, but this is optional. The food processor part is optional for your strawberries. You can take a potato masher to them or mash them whatever way is best for you. But for right now, I'm going to be using my food processor just to get the consistency I want it to be, easier, quicker, etc. So I'm just going to take my strawberries here, put the batches, load them in there, puree them. Show you what that looks like. This is what my strawberry mixture looks like after I process it in my food processor. I'll just give it a little bit of stir. It's pretty thick. Kind of looks like stewed tomatoes, but I measured total 5 cups crushed. So this is what it is. It was 8 cups whole, 5 cups crushed. And from this point, I'm going to go ahead and I have my pectin, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn my heat on here. Takes a minute for ours to start. Put it on about medium, and then I'm going to stir in my pectin, and you're going to bring this to a rolling boil, which means just a boil that can't be stirred down. No matter how many times you stir it, it just keeps on boiling. So there's my pectin. And I'm just going to take it and stir it in. And we'll bring this to a boil. And increase your heat if you need to. But I'll see y'all in a second when we get there. Get to a rolling boil. While you're waiting on that to come to a boil, I went ahead and measured out my sugar. So this is what we're looking like so far. So you want to go ahead and get your sugar measured out and stir this every once in a while, so that don't stick or nothing. And I'll go ahead and increase my heat. And while my mixture's boiling, I was just going to tell y'all, I went ahead and turned the heat up on my jars in my water bath canner to get them processing. And they've already been on low, so they're already kind of warm. And I'm going to go ahead and set up a little station right here with my canning funnel and my jar lifter and everything. So let me show you what that looks like. Alright, we are at a rolling boil. This is a boil, no matter how many times you stir it, it's still bubbling. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar in. 7 cups of white sugar. So in the sugar goes like that. And give this a stir. And this is going to reduce the temperature down a lot. So I'll show you what this looks like after this is all stirred in. And you are going to stir this to dissolve it all. So you don't want no like lumps left in there. You're just going to stir it so that all your sugar is dissolved. So let that dissolve. And you do want to stir it. I mean, you don't want to walk away and go wash dishes or something. I mean, you want it to be right here near it so it don't scorch it. And once this comes to a rolling boil, once again, we're going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to set our timer. Sorry, my bad, for 3 to 4 minutes. And while we continue to stir. Quick fact, or quick tip, if you cook for 3 minutes, you'll get a looser set jam, and 4 minutes for a slightly more set, and then less than 3 minutes will be runny, and more than 4 minutes will be too thick or too firm. So, alright, we almost there to the rolling boil, and at this point I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer on my stove for 4 minutes. And this is optional for you. Some people say it don't matter, but at this point you can go ahead and scrape some of that foam off the top, just this stuff here, and put it into a bowl. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to scrape that off the best I can while my timer's going. Alright, so that's how much longer we got left on our timer. And in the process of scraping this off, there's just more and more and more. So I did get that much, and I'm going to say, I'm going to see what it looks like after turning the heat off, because after it's boiled for 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to turn the heat off. So, I ladled off a good bit of it, but we're going to see what it looks like after I turn the heat off. So, I ain't going to scoop off no more. That's it. I don't want to lose any of my product. So, alright, I just turned my heat off, and y'all can see the way this looks. So if you was wanting to scrape the foam off, now would be the time to do it. Now it's not all a whole bunch of foam now, like just all over the place. So if you wanted to scrape foam off the top, now is your time. After you've turned your heat off and removed it from your burner. Alright, y'all. After scraping for a minute or two, this is what it looks like. I'm satisfied at this point. It's fine. It has some foam left, but I'm fine with that. I mean, it ain't like a whole bunch of it just an inch thick on the top. So that's fine with me. Like I said, this is up to your liking. And over here, I've got my stuff ready to pull my jars out of my canner, and they're coming to a boil right now. Sterilizing, and so I got my funnel, tongs. This is a thing to get my rings and lids out of the hot water with, and I'll show you what I'm fixing to do about that in a second. I have vinegar, paper towel. I'm going to wipe my rims, the rim of my jar, so just like pretend this. I'll show you in a second. So you get something on the side. This is to ensure a seal. You just wipe the rim all the way off with paper towel, apply your 2-piece lid, and then pop it back in the canner. So while my mixture is, I just took it off the heat like I said, and my lids and my rings, I'm actually not gonna put them in like a separate little container with boiling water or hot water. I'm actually gonna take, since my jars are hot, I'm gonna take, and there's my jars in there, just throw them down in there and let them sit while I take my jar lifter and lift my jars out. Sorry, that's probably steamy on the camera. So, set my jars down one by one. And I'm going to do this till all my jars are on my towel. Just take it, lift, and pour till all the water's gone. And you're going to do this with all of them. Alright, so at this point, be careful when you're ladling your hot mixture into these jars, because it is very hot. You have hot jars, you have your hot strawberry mixture over here, so just be careful when doing this. And my pot is right here to my right, and you want your pot and your jars to be right beside each other, because as you're ladling over in, you don't want to make a big mess. So put your can full on your jar, take them and just ladling it over in there. And I made a batch of this, and that foam we talked about that was in there, it can make your final jam with patches of like foam or cloudiness in it. So if you don't want that, then you need to sit there and scrape foam off the top. And that's the only way you're gonna avoid it that I know. Is just being patient and scraping it all off. And I'm filling all my jars to 1/4 of an inch headspace. If it's a little less than that, that's fine. But you don't want no more than that. You want that space in between there. So I'm gonna fill all these up. Just taking and put my foot on top of my jars, each one. And then I'll show you what I do after I get them all filled up. Alright, now that all of my jars are filled up, and you can see there's a little bit of foam on top, but that does not affect the taste of your jelly. And yeah, you're going to make a mess, a little bit of a mess, but no big deal. So what we did was we took some vinegar, just regular vinegar, put it on a paper towel, and you go around and you wipe each rim of your jars to make sure there's no debris, no nothing. Because if there is, you could have a problem with your seals. So you're just going to go around and wipe each jar, and we've already actually wiped all of them. And we're going to go over here to our pot here. And your lids that were in there. You're going to take your, the debubbler with the magnet on the end. And reach in there and grab them and put it on top of your jars. You just reach in there like that. Grab one. Come over here and put it on top like that. So you're going to do all of them that way. So we got all our lids on here, and you're just going to take your band and you're going to do it fingertip tight. So when I say fingertip, like that. So just on there. And then sometimes the threads don't want to, so like that. And you're going to do all of them that way until they're all capped up. So now that we're all capped up, you're going to take your jar lifter, grab your jar, put it over in your hot water, just like that. So each one is going over in the water. And by the time we fill this up, because of the volume of the jars, the water will cover the top, just like you need it to. So that one was left in there, a bit extra. Let me fish him out real quick. And these things are a lifesaver. You get you one of these things that's got the magnet on the end. They are so helpful. So highly recommend you get one of them. Did that little thing stay in there? Alright. So we got almost all of our jars in like that. Go ahead and this water's already hot, y'all, so it ain't gonna take that long for it to come to a boil. So they're in there. It don't matter if they're touching or not. They're still gonna do the same. And we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on and wait 10 minutes. Once it comes to a boil, that's when you set your timer. So we're gonna turn our burner on high and wait 10 minutes till it comes to a full boil. Wait till it comes to a full boil, then 10 minutes. Alright, if you're wondering when it's starting to boil, you can hear it. Just listen for it and you'll know. Now that it's starting to boil and move around in there a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. So you listen to your canner, listen out for when they actually start maybe bumping each other with inside the pot. Or they just start, the water, you can hear it start boiling. And that's when you need to start your timer. Alright, timer just went off, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off my heat. It's been 10 minutes. And when you lift this up, lift it away from you like this, because that steam can burn you. So you want to do it away from you like that. And now I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes with the lid off. And you're going to let them sit in your can for 5 minutes with the lid off. So timer, 5 minutes. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Alright, our timer is up. 5 minutes is up. And I'm going to take my jar lifter and lift my jars out of the water like this and set them over here to dry. So we're going to do all of them that way. Move this out the way. So from here, just let the water run off just a little bit. Come over here and set them down. And so forth. So we're going to do all of them that way. Did you hear that? I love that sound. Maybe you'll hear it again in just a second. Just listen. Let's see if you can hear it. I'm just going to let y'all look at them. It is the most satisfying sound. There it went again. I love that sound. And there it went again. That's the sound of success when it comes to canning. Alright, that was the last one. Okay. And there you have it. And you're going to leave these to sit. There they go. You're going to leave them to sit for 12 to 24 hours. I always let mine sit for 24 hours. I mean, I'm all busy doing things. You're going to check the seals by pushing down on the tops. If they don't ping, then your jars are sealed and set. And I will say you need to adjust, one quick thing, you need to adjust your amount of time for your processing according to your altitude that you are, whether 1,000 feet above sea level and so forth. So, but there y'all go. I hope y'all like it. And I've done tried some and it is delicious. So, get y'all a good look at them. There you go. Y'all enjoy. And good luck. Happy canning.